When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time. Okay, we need to make these things quick. Not a lot of time I have today. Not a lot of time I have today. Not a lot of time I have today. Part 1. Part 1. Okay, something's wrong. And now we can actually start working at Godspeed. Is that the actual term? But yeah, we want to do it as fast as possible because that is why I'm using a UI library, because you don't have to create a lot of things from scratch. And the great thing about shadcn is that you get these components. uh, you don't just install them. Like when you add them, the whole code is copied into your project, and then you can actually pick and choose what you want to keep, what you want to customize. um, a better concept, I guess. At least that is what the folks on Discord tell me. Okay, so this kind of works. Not that it doesn't, but I have to have it as a full width one. And I don't see any customization options right there. It's just not there. The customization option. Um, Even if I go in here, I can see all of the options that have been used. So we have the root element. Inside it, we have the menu element. Here, and then it is grouped with, let's say we have the trigger for file, and then we have content within it. Okay, okay till now. And then we close the menu as well, and then we start our new menu. Okay, so I'm guessing root, and then each individual menu goes under the menu option, and we have the trigger and items. Fair, pretty easy to grasp. You can also have checkbox items and things like that. Maybe that would be required in some cases. And radio item as well. But this is not something that someone would use. Yeah, maybe I can, of course, use it. And would it be that bad? Let's just go and try it out. Right. Uh, we do have our own component. Let's go to nav menu, and I think we have some data available, and I'll also ask our diode control L, our diode, what is it called? Okay, I guess we need more data to at least start using it. Okay, so now let's see if it is able to do it properly. Like, it does try to restrain its uh, overall the amount of tokens, I guess, is fairly limited, which is understandable. Like, that's okay, but we do need that data. So we are going to create a new file, and uh, we are going to name it navdata.ts, and we'll const export const nav data, and we'll paste it right here. That gives us the data. Okay, so this, I want to export it instead, and we have at least some of the things right here with us, and we can start using it in our menu. So we'll import that first of all. We'll also use this right here. So that I'll have all of the data in a single place where I can easily manage it and test things out. The main thing is that I want to quickly test out all of the options that I have so that I can include it on my real website. And to do something like that, we have to go ahead with uh, okay, let's move it down a bit. Which is all right. I guess I just need to work with this right here, and we are going to go with each nav data as, and we have the label link and items in it, and we also can have index as well. And we get 5 menus, which is kind of cool, right? And we can replace this with, let's say, label. We have got products, services, resources, pricing, and everything going for us right over here. Okay, cool. That's pretty cool. Next thing that we'd want is to have menu items. And for each item we'd want to include this as the item, right? And what would these item actually take as option? We'll have to check that out later. Let's go with a single menu item. Hmm. And we have got some things going on for us now. Okay. And what if we want it to be an anchor tag? And we have the icons working as well. Sorry, the links working as well, which is what I really wanted in this case. We can also move ahead and customize some of the other things that we have. Like currently, it doesn't take a lot of space, and it's just a single like a list. And maybe I don't want that. I want something that is more of a mega menu, uh, takes up more space. So can I actually have uh, grid options in it? So let me just go ahead and look at all of the options that I can have. Okay, I have the align option. I can pass in classes, align offset. Okay, I think that I get what I need to adjust. Maybe. So I have all of these props that I can adjust and play around with. Right. And so let's just go ahead and open it to the side and go back to our main item list. Now we have got this thing and we can see all of the props available to us. Let's start with looking at some of the transitions that we can have. Transition. Okay, I have to pass in, and there's some additional animations, I guess, that are also being provided by shadcn-svelte. These are not native to Svelte, at least from what I know. Scale conversion and things like that. So these are custom transitions, which is pretty cool. And I can actually then, that means, have transition and I can say slide. And okay, so I don't think I can actually define it like this. So let's just go ahead and define it like this. And will that work? Yes, it is now sliding. Right. So we can customize the transition that is provided. Let's look at the next option, transition config. No, uh, I want the align option. Center, end, and start. What if I do center? Okay, it'll be in the right center of this, which is cool, kind of cool. Okay, let's try. Uh, let's try with start, and it is always at the start. The next one that we can try is align offset, and that is going to be align offset is going to be a number. I'll go with 0. Class, let me just go with width full and see if that works. Okay, we have removed the alignment of that. Okay, align offset, align left. We have set it to align start. We have set the align offset to 0. We also want to set the align, there is a side offset. Let's see what it is. Okay, we can set that to 0 and try what it actually does. So if it is side offset, I think, uh, I hope it isn't top offset. Okay, we have tried out all of the options that were available to us. We have done align, align offset, side offset, transition, and yeah, we have pretty much tried them all. It doesn't look like the class is actually doing anything, because if it were, I would be able to set padding to 0, and uh, if I do that, the padding is only working inside this. Rounded, medium, border, none. Okay. Okay, so I need to go ahead and customize the option that is maybe okay, so this is handling the inner aspects of it. All right. Uh, I want to handle the outer aspect, but I don't think that. Let's try menu and see what properties we have here. Okay, that's pretty. Hmm, that is kind of interesting, but also kind of sus. And it seems like it doesn't take anything, even resembling. Nope, it does not take anything resembling that. Uh, Dumbassery. It just doesn't take anything resembling that. Class. Like I have no class option. All of the options that I have are only available here. Let's try 100. Let's try 1000. What is being offset is what I don't. Okay, now it is showing the offset because I can see that. Okay, so it is being offset by some amount. And if I go with this, let's see. Okay, so side isn't actually side, it is top. And align offset is on the horizontal axis. Okay, that doesn't actually work. At that point, I don't think align offset is even necessary. And I can just go with start, sorry, center, and here I can say width is 4x. and that works out quite well for us. Pretty cool. Let me just go ahead and try some other things out. So obviously I don't have a lot of options right here. Let's try dummyjson.com. Always a good resource. That's the principle. Standing handle. Natural. Feeling hard of circle. I'm thinking that we don't have a lot of options for, in particular, a menu item. I mean, we can create it with maybe top products and then taking that into, uh, hmm, that's the price you pay. Leave behind the and cast away. You're a natural, a bleeding out of God. We so cold, ashes in the sun. Natural. Okay, what we can actually do is go ahead and look at the nav data. But we also want uh, okay, that right about does the whole thing for me, and seems like all the borders are gone, so I can override the style. Next thing that I want to do is have a logo on the left hand side and then a few CTA buttons on the right hand side. Or should I just take this whole item and put this in nav bar dot swell? I mean, that would also help us out. I think I can actually comment this out, remove this kind of, and have our menu root here. We can then go ahead and join this over here. We'll also need our nav data. Okay, and that works for us. Okay, I don't think we had to actually work on the nav bar. We have to work on the nav menu instead. That is where we went wrong. Just give me a minute. And we are back for another 6 minutes because we need to get this done. I'll just go ahead yoink it from here. Um, okay, first of all, I just paste this right over here. Then I'll go ahead and paste this particular item. I'll remove the sheet. I'll move this. I'll remove drawer. And I can also remove the buttons because I don't need them. I'll remove the nav array because I've actually stored it in another place, like, and we won't need this as well. And what I generally like to do is to just yoink the code and save it in a safe and secure place. And for that we'll use safe.md. This is a safe place to just dump unused code. It's actually what legends do. But let's just work on this now. We don't have the nav action, so we'll have to import that as well. And we have it working. We can remove the ball. And we have something that actually works. Pretty cool. We'll take the children, pump that right here. Whew. And the nav bar also needs some amount of padding. We want the items to be center so that everything just looks even and not just insane. And we are getting somewhere really good. We can even go one step ahead and just get this data right here. We can have it expanded by our friend Claude. Great friend Claude. I mean, everyone deserves a friend like Claude. Um, Chat GPT is like, doesn't feel like a human name, you know? Want to see a magic trick? Whoa, disappears, reappears, disappears, reappears. That's the magic. Okay, so Claude went above board and just gave me an insane number of things, which I didn't actually want. So now we can actually go ahead and copy and paste this code right here. And what we now are going to have is a lot more items. And if that is the case, then we can also have an expanded amount of this whole thing, right? So we obviously have this, but what we want to do is go for grid calls 3 because now we have the space for that. We also want a gap of, let's say, 4. So now that it looks even better. And that does look better. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, the menu works. Maybe let's restart this. That works for right now. We have to move ahead, and for that what I can do is I think that this is pretty okay at this point. Like I don't think we'd need more than these number of menu items uh, for our use case. But let's just say we have got this resources going on for us, and Of course, we may want some things that just aren't available right here. And this is also going like uh, right off the. So this works, but right now this thing right here is actually causing us the main issue. So in that case, we'll have to go back to kind of the nav bar option right here and make sure that the menu right here is actually able to. Okay, I'll guess I'll have to skip at least one of the items, and that should actually save me right now. What the hell? I think something's broken. So now we have everything working properly. And we can use it as is, right? And this is all like accessible because if you see, I can actually use my keyboard as well to navigate. And I can jump between these. Pretty cool that you can build something like this so fast. But let's just see if we can also have another component in here. Maybe we can have like a nav carousel, because let's say we are using resources, and in resources we want to show um, our latest posts, right? And that would be a good use of the carousels. Okay. Okay, this is pretty cool. Like this carousel seems really neat. But do I need it? What I was hoping is to get something along the lines of what Prismic has on their like homepage, and I really did that design because if you just take a look at it in resources, you can see that they're just really nice. It's just an image, right? So this is definitely something that I can create and uh, I can create in my. Okay, this I think is a really cool component. Like it just automatically cycles through, like it's like a stack, and it keeps cycling through each of these content pieces, and it's like a really good experience kind of. But if I go and look at the mobile experience, which is I guess like most people, I don't think actually access the website anymore from mm, their desktop. So if we go to products, we have got our product, and this becomes a really long list. We don't want to actually confuse the user as well. So like the key options are more or less what we want. Something like what Stripe has. If I go to stripe.com and look at their menu, it's pretty cool. Like if I just hover over it, and I've actually created such a menu in the past and it looks pretty slick, right? If you just hover over it, it just comes into view. You hover out of it, it disappears. And if you look at the micro interactions, the first thing that happens is that the menu appears, and then this arrow also appears right afterwards. And the transition is really smooth between these. Like uh, all of the menus are being rendered at once, and then we are moving between them. So something like this would be more or less what I want. But if I go and inspect this, and I don't want it to be actually this is what I want. Okay, so this is an SVG, right? And even though we have actually stopped hovering over it, it is still in the DOM. It has not actually disappeared. So I'm guessing that uh, what it is actually doing is adjusting, like it's still right here. And if we go into it, we can see it right here. And even if I reload the page, I can, okay, now it is off screen. Let's see that it exists, but it is off screen. And once we hover, it is right here. And they don't remove it from the DOM as well, which I guess leads to better and faster rendering of this menu. And so the better transition and experience for the user. Like what I used to think is that they would remove it actually from the DOM, and then when the user hovers over it, it again reappears, but that isn't what they are doing. And these are all SVG icons. I guess they are uh, so I can use these icons as well. I mean, that is exactly what I want. So let's just do this. Why can't we do this, right? We can just go ahead and Let's leave the navigation this out. That's that's just out of scope for us right now. Let's see what options can we have on the item itself. So we have the property of class. You can also set the inset value, which I guess would be the okay. Inset would lead to a padding of 8 on the left. I don't know what is happening right now, but something's a mess. Let me just stop this. Something has gone horribly wrong. And now it works. What was happening is as soon as I pressed tab, it would actually cycle through the menus instead of uh, tabbing, right? Okay, now this whole thing becomes like one menu. And this is kind of cool because earlier we didn't have this. We were actually using another anchor element inside it to get the same kind of experience. And just to go ahead with the same, like if we look at the default classes, we have relative flex and is the flex. Okay, so it will allow wrapping, which is not what I want. So I want another component here, and this is going to be pen, and this is going to be a pen icon. Size would be I guess we can make it smaller. And if we now look at it, where did the pen go? Okay, we haven't actually restarted the development server, so the changes that we make we don't see. And we have our pens. And we also get this really nice looking icons. Pretty cool, right? Hmm, good. And we'll have to set up each menu accordingly. Now, what happens if we are actually not trying to do something like this? What if we want to actually go ahead and view it on a phone? Will this be responsive or will this cause problems? I think it'll cause problems right now as it is because I have not set up any responsive classes for now, which I have to set up. Let's look at iPhone Max Pro, and what we can see is that now everything is unresponsive, right? And so this won't actually work for us in this case. So we need to have some kind of responsiveness going for us. Uh, we may actually have to hide it on uh, normal screens, and for that I guess we will get uh, some kind of utilities, and it is also working weird. If I actually click on this, it closes, right? Which is how it should work. And what if I want to actually view some of the events, like if I want to know if it is actually hovered or open? Do I have anything in that case? Maybe, maybe not. Let's just check it out and see what we can get. So we go back to the menu bar and look at the primitive menu bar reference. Okay, so Bits UI has more information about all of the things that we have available. In transition out, transition align. Okay, so we have a lot of elements and items right over here. And if we just look into uh, a prevent scroll. Okay, we have a break now. Whoa. nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing at all is happening because I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Windows Alt K. Okay, so no supported apps. And then there's function F4. Let's try that out. That just mutes the audio, not the this. Let's go. Let's get back onto it, right? Uh, we want to go at lightning fast speed at this point because we want to get this done as fast as possible. Let's just see what options that we have right here. In the root, we have prevent scroll element. Okay. Okay, what is the builder element? I'll have to sort of understand this. Let's look at what is delegation. For certain components, we set our default underlying HTML element to wrap the slot with. Okay, as a high level example. Okay, so it is wrapped in button. Okay, if we want to replace button with a div element. Okay, when set to true, the component will pass the builder as a slot prop, which you can then apply to the element of your choosing. Right. So we are actually binding this to builder, and then we are setting the div element, and then it will be able to replace the okay. So if the user provides this prop uh, that sets this to true, we are going to have the custom element, otherwise it is just going to have the normal element. And I don't think this is a use case that I want right now. Okay, menu bar dot menu has the open state which is provides us. Hmm. Kind of, kind of like we can go ahead and have some items if we actually use this option of open on open change. Changes console. What I want for is the alignment in particular. Okay, Alt and arrow keys actually. Uh, okay, this just works on the drawer, and this doesn't work on anything. Let's ask our friend Giga Chat GPT if it knows what we can actually do. Um, Okay, Control Shift D actually changes it, so that's pretty cool for us. And Control Shift M actually toggles the. So we have two new shortcuts that we need to remember: Control Shift D and Control Shift M. Control Shift D to toggle dock, Control Shift M to toggle mobile view. Pretty cool, right? Shortcuts are pretty much what I generally really like about everything in life. They say don't take shortcuts, but you have got to take shortcuts. There's no other way. And let's just look at the console if we actually get. No, we are actually not getting anything. Okay, so now all of them are open and I have to close them manually. All are open. Okay, I guess it can be maybe useful if I want to have, let's say, index triple equal to 0, in which case it will be open, otherwise it will be false. So we can have the first option open by default, which is pretty cool. And what other options do we have on open change? What would loop do? We'll have to read about that. What does loop actually do? Menu item. We've got loop. Okay. If we are able to loop over it like this, which is pretty nice. I want to have the loop option available. I mean, this, I think a lot of thought has gone into designing the API and everything like that. Children, okay, close, focus. Hmm. And I guess we can also use this open property to sort of okay, think about it like this. If someone clicks on a button, then whatever is managing the state of this menu can be actually triggered from outside the menu itself. So for instance, let's say I want to have open, and that is set to uh, is outside button open, and we can kind of create something of a rune that manages this. Let it outside equals dollar state, and we'll set it to false. Right, and then we can go ahead from right over here to something that is much more interesting to us. Whatever that is, I do not know. I don't know what it is. Do you? Do you know what it is? No, you don't. It's just kind of idiotic if you ask me. But we do know what we know, and we don't know what we don't know. So, whatever the bush BS I'm talking about is okay. I'll go with button and toggle, and we get that toggle button. And we are going to change the state, of course, on click. Uh, and that sets all of them to open. But none of them actually show up, so I guess something else also has to be set to open. Right. And let's just go back to the reference for the API. So on open change portal. Shit. Okay, let's go to on open change and try that out, because that is happening. That on open change is happening. But it just doesn't show up, which is like kind of wrong in a sense. Because we have actually passed in the option of open as well, and it still won't show us. Let's try with trigger options, right? So if we have the menu trigger and it, but what would this item actually do? If I have the data state option, what do I get in return from it? Let's just go and see what it actually is like. But do I have any event to know? For instance, that one had on menu change, and that seemed like a good option to have with this whole thing, but it isn't actually working. On open change isn't working, so I'm guessing that I'll have to take a break and then come back. But till then, au revoir.